Yay. Welcome to S-LMMA. Today we're going to be breaking down the stacked featherweight division. Why, you might say? Well, Yair Rodriguez seems to think that he's up next for the title for whatever reason. On the other hand, Aljamain Sterling has been making his case in his appearance on the MMA Hour. And that's not even mentioning what Lerone Murphy has just done, KOing Aaron Pico. So without further ado, I will be ranking who I think is the most deserving of the next title shot. And I will be matchmaking the guys as a result of that ranking. Without further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at number 5, we have Yair Rodriguez. His case is the least convincing for a title shot, given the fact that his last 3 fights, he's lost to Volk. Volk won in a dominant fashion. Then he goes on to get submitted by Brian Ortega, and his only recent win is coming from Pitbull, who has no resume in the division against top guys. Not saying that Pitbull is a slouch by any means, but even a KO finish over this guy right now would not be enough to get a title shot, in my opinion. Which brings me to number 4, Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez right now is the second least deserving of a title shot because of his recent loss to Volkanovski. Although he kept the fight competitive and he was in the fight, he was still a step behind the whole way. He would come back to defeat the hype train of the division, John Silva. Now, beating John Silva is a good feat, but he hasn't fought anybody in the top 5. So a win over him isn't going to just catapult you back to the title. With that being said, flat out, Diego Lopez needs another win. I don't know who that should be, guys. I really don't. You guys let me know in the comments who you think should be Diego Lopez's next fight. Next 3 guys are going to find themselves in this position because the UFC doesn't always give the guy who you think deserves it the title shot. So we'll see what happens. But coming in at number 3, we have Aljamain Sterling. He definitely has an argument here because he does have the biggest name out of all of these guys. And not to mention, he comes in, he beats Calvin Kattar, although Calvin Kattar was having a spotty, situation up until that point. He then goes on to lose in a close fight to the number 1 contender, but then he makes up for it by beating another contender in Brian Ortega. Even though he had a weird weight cut, I don't know what was going on with that. But it doesn't change the fact that Aljo's the biggest name. He hasn't fought Volkanovski yet. Yair and Diego, they both have. And he's also a former champion, making this fight one of the easier ones to sell. You don't need too much. They're both champions. That's really all you need. Coming in at number 2, we have Lerone Murphy. This guy is on a 9-fight win streak. He's beaten guys like Dan Ige and Josh Emmett. Those are 2 dangerous guys. Those are the guys that if you beat them, then you know you're going to be a threat at least to a top 5 guy. Most of the guys that beat those guys are guys who sit at least outside of the top 5 or they're still in the top 5. But his biggest claim here is that he KO'd Aaron Pico in his most recent bout. So that's kind of a statement win that kind of puts a light on him over these other guys. He covers all the bases you want to see from an up-and-coming contender, definitely being a threat to Volk. Coming in at number 1, we have Movsar Evloev. He has a 19-0 record. He's undefeated, beating Diego Lopez, Arnold Allen, and Aljamain Sterling. Those 3 are the toughest guys in the division besides Diego Lopez. I think that he should have gotten a chance at the title already, but I think the UFC doesn't want to push him because he doesn't have finishes on his record, and they might think that he has a boring style or something. I really don't know, but he's the most deserving. So this is how I would matchmake if Evloev does get the title. I would have Aljamain fight Lerone Murphy. We got Josh Emmett fighting Yusuf, which is already an actual fight that's set up. Then we got Diego Lopez versus Yair Rodriguez. That's a no-brainer. And then that leaves us with John Silva versus Arnold Allen, which that would be a banger. All these fights are banger fights, to be honest. And that's what we got. And that will conclude the video. Thank you guys for watching, and please like and subscribe.